Hello students. First of all, let me ask you a very simple question. What is your favorite activity on the festival of Makar Sankranti? Most of you must be thinking of flying kites, right? That's right. Today we will learn a beautiful poem about the kite. The Kite, which is a very beautiful poem, is written by Harry Behn. He was an American screenwriter and children's author. He taught at the University of Arizona and founded the University of Arizona Press in 1960. He published his first book of poetry, Siesta, in 1931, and at the urging of his children began writing children's books. His other important works include Two Uncles of Pablo, Trees, a Poem, Halloween, The Little Hill. Now, I will read the poem and you will listen to me very carefully how I pronounce each and every word. Okay? And then we will see the explanation. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. With a dive and a dip, it snaps its tail. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. With a dive and a dip, it snaps its tail. Then soars like a ship with only a sail. Then soars like a ship with only a sail. Here, the poet describes how a kite appears to be a bright and beautiful thing when it flies in the sky. With a dive and a dip, it snaps its tail. Here, the words dive and dip are used to describe the steep descent of the kite, right? The movement of the kite downwards. It snaps its tail. Here, the meaning of the word snap is fluttering of the tail. जब आपने काइट उड़ाई होगी तो आपने देखा होगा कि उसकी जो टेल होती है वो मूव करती है टू एंड फ्रो. इट फ्लटर्स, राइट? Then soars like a ship with only a sail. Here, the kite is compared to a ship, right? Compared with a ship with only a sail. A sail is what? A sail is a material which is extended on a mast of a ship to catch the wind and propel the ship फॉरवर्ड, राइट? सेल को हिंदी में कहते हैं पाल. जो आपने देखा हो ना, शिप्स पे एक ज्यादातर कपड़ा होता है बहुत बड़ा, जो जिस पे हवा चलती है तो शिप आगे चलता है, उसी को बोलते हैं सेल. नाउ ऑब्जर्व केयरफुली. Is a kite when it's new. Here you see an exclamation mark after the word new. Why it is used here? Exclamation mark is used when we have to express a strong feeling or emotion. The feeling or emotion can be of happiness, sadness, surprise, excitement, fear, or pain. For example, wow, what a beautiful day. Here, the feeling of happiness is described. So we will use an exclamation mark here. Another example is ouch, I got hurt. Here we will also use an exclamation mark because the strong feeling of pain is described here, right? So you get the idea. Now here is another thing. In the last two lines, the kite is compared to a ship, and this is called simile. Simile is what? It is a figure of speech, right? It is a literary device which is used to beautify a poem. In simile, we compare two things with the use of the words like or as. For example, brave like a lion, busy as a bee, soars like a ship, right? So we are using as or like to compare two things here. Brave like a lion, you are brave like a lion, है ना? तो इसे बोलते हैं simile, right? You must remember that. Now, next lines. As over tides of wind it rides. As over tides of wind it rides. The kite rides on the wind, climbs to the crest of a gust and pulls. It climbs to the crest. The meaning of the crest here is highest point, right? Crest is the highest point of the wave. So here it means that the kite rises to the highest point when it experiences a gust. Gust is what? A sudden और brief blow of wind, झोंका जिसे हम बोलते हैं ना, वो चीज. So when the kite experiences a gust of wind, a sudden and brief rush of wind, झोंका, it rises high in the air, then seems to rest as wind falls. And when the wind falls, जब हवा रुक जाती है तो काइट भी एक जगह पर रुकी हुई लगती है. Then seems to rest. When string goes slack, you wind it back. Now listen carefully. I'm saying wind, not wind here, right? In the second line. When string goes slack, you wind it back and run until a new breeze blows and its wings fill and up it goes. Now listen again. When string goes slack, you wind it back and run until a new breeze blows and its wings fill and up it goes. Here you see again the use of exclamation mark at the end line, right? Because here also the poet expresses a feeling of excitement and happiness, a strong feeling of excitement and happiness. So he uses an exclamation mark. When string goes slack, you wind it back. जब जो काइट की डोर है वो ढीली पड़ जाती है तो यू वाइंड इट बैक. आप चरखी पर जो उसकी डोर है वो लपेटते हो ताकि उसे दोबारा उड़ा सको. And run until a new breeze blows. And you run until a new breeze blows and you can fly again the kite. And when it experiences the breeze again, the kite goes up again. Its wings fill with wind and it goes up again. How beautifully the poet, you can see, describes the movement of the kite. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. Here, the poet again repeats the first two lines of the poem. But a raggeder thing you never will see when it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. Listen again carefully. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new, but a raggeder thing you never will see when it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. Here, the poet again describes the how beautiful and amazing a kite looks when it flies in the sky. But a raggeder thing you never will see. Here, the word raggeder means the worn and torn out condition of the kite. And why the kite is torn? Because it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. Here, the poet describes the end conclusion of the flying of a kite. मोस्टली क्या होता है, जब आप काइट उड़ाते हो तो लास्ट में किसी न किसी पेड़ पर अटक जाती है और फिर जब आप उसे खींचते हो तो थोड़ा वो फ्लटर करती है लेकिन फिर फट जाती है. वही चीज पोएट ने यहाँ पर डिस्क्राइब की है. दैट अ रेगुलर थिंग you never will see when it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. At the end, it gets stuck in a tree and it is torn and worn out. Right? So you can see how amazingly the poet Harry Behn describes the journey of a kite from the beginning to the end, from flying high in the sky to get stuck in a tree. Now, what you have to do? You have to try to find meaning of the new words that you encounter in the poem. Right? You have to find the new words. All the words that you find new and difficult, you can write them down and try to find their meaning. And then find examples of simile in any 5 poems of your choice. I have already described what a simile is, so if you find examples of simile in any 5 poems of your choice, you will better understand it, right? Thank you.